And then the unique thing that we've got starting to take shape here is in February of this year, we actually acquired and purchased Becker Supply Company and Becker Press, which was founded by Jake and Lena, who I think you guys are very familiar with.
Awesome people.
And we actually got linked up with them because they were hiker owners, and we just met them in the community, and they had this really cool little kind of outdoor brand and custom apparel business. And they were traveling so much in a hiker. We said, hey man, we'd love to partner with you somehow because you go to all the same shows that we do. You have these really cool shirts. They actually currently do and previously made all of our hiker trailer t-shirts and merch that we did.
Okay.
So it was just a natural partnership. So we talked to them earlier this year, ended up acquiring the company. That way they could join the hiker team and help us with the hiker shows, but also teach us how to, grow the business and expand into new markets. We don't just want to be Hiker Trailers, the trailer company. We want to have an ecosystem of various companies and brands that all support that outdoor enthusiast, overlanding, camping, whatever you call it. We like to call it adventure camping because it is, camping plus almost,
I would
right?
agree with that, yeah.
So it was just a natural partnership, and, it aligns with their goals of wanting to do more shows and be on the road more. And we take on the production side, which we'll head up to the shop and take a look at how we actually make some of the shirts and do some custom apparel and that sort of stuff.
Very cool. I've never actually seen how these shirts and these different products are made.
Well, we'll go through the process because they're working on some stuff today, so we can actually show you how the machines work.
Sweet.
And go through some of the basic steps. But we do, we build our own brand, which is the Becker Supply brand. We make our own merch for Hiker and our other companies, but we also do custom work. So if people need uniforms or if other companies want to do merch, especially in the overlanding world and the camping space, we go to all these shows and there's all these smaller mom and pop shops that have, a metal fab, and we just say, hey, you want us to design a couple shirts for you?
Yeah.
Because we can do all the artwork. Jake's a fully trained classical artist, has 15 years in the business.
Very skilled.
We have other artists that we've hired locally, which is really cool because here in Columbus, Indiana, it's a very kind of small, tight-knit community.
Okay.
And there's nobody that does custom apparel or camping stuff or anything here. So we're trying to really, get involved in the local community here in Columbus. We didn't have a lot of time to do that the first 4 or 5 years that we did Hiker here,
I
because
can imagine you're trying to launch
we expanded into what we are so quickly. Because originally, when we purchased the company, we were only making 8 units a month.
Oh wow!
And so within 5 years, we're now making 50. So we've had our hands full, so to speak.
Right.
But now that we've got a really good firm grasp on this and have really good growth plans for Hiker, it's now about, hey, what else can we do to build that community and that goal
perfect.
that we wanted to do, right?
That's a big focus of us as well, is like building the community, hearing, like you were saying earlier, listening to what they need and what they want and being able to accommodate that.
And, if it makes sense to continue to grow that ecosystem, them being Hiker owners, it was just, very serendipitous that, hey, they have a small apparel company that they want to be on the road more, and we've got some hiker guys that'll get their hands dirty and make some t-shirts and mix some inks, right?
Awesome.
So that's kind of what it turned into. But in addition to shirts and stuff, we do candles, custom scents. We have our own scents, which are really nice and all outdoors themed and very reminiscent of different times of the year or parts of the country. We also have our own custom coffee. We work with a local coffee roaster.
Nice.
So we've kind of developed some flavors on that and sell coffee, and that's all through Becker Supply and Deer Creek for our online customers.
I mean, we're huge fans of Made in America, so it's great that you're sourcing these things locally as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important to us as well. And in the RV world, unfortunately, we have to buy stuff that's not made in the U.S.
We're a global economy. We do understand
it happens,
that.
But like I said, our sister company builds our frames and does all that work here. We're not importing components or pre-built parts of our trailers. Everything is hand assembled within a 20-mile radius of our facility here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go up front. I'll show you the Becker shop and kind of walk you through how all that process works.
Awesome.
So this is kind of our first iteration of Becker Press, which is where we actually make all of the garments or candles or other apparel and kind of products that we're going to sell through our companies or develop for our own brands. So we have our screen printing machine in the back. We do a lot of t-shirts, merch, uniforms. We currently do screen printing. We can also outsource and do embroidery, patches, stickers, all the good stuff that somebody might want. And the nice thing about having Becker Press do all of the production for us, and then having Becker Supply, which is our own brand, is we get to kind of R&D and develop and come up with those cool, fun products.
Nice.
To use as an example to show people that might be interested in getting some custom work done with
Right,
us, right?
right.
So as you look around the shop here, you'll see a lot of our own merch on the tables. We've just gotten done, restocking up with some sweatshirts for the fall and winter here.
Perfect.
This is our Wave and Sun tee design on our long sleeve version here. So this is really popular. This is one of our Becker Supply designs. You can see the back here is pretty nice and cool,
I
right?
like that. Nice, simple design.
Yeah, and then we're going to be doing some hoodies for hiker trailers. And then we just don't do hiker and Becker stuff. Obviously, we do a lot of custom work.
Oh, very cool.
So we work with some, bike shops or
cool.
other local businesses.
Yep.
Really cool one is Googman Brewing House in Indianapolis. They're a really long-term friend and client of ours, and they do some really cool stuff. And we do a lot of their artwork for them, but if you have your own artwork, you can just send us files. Obviously, we can print whatever you want.
Oh, very cool. Is there like I guess always a question, minimums, like those kind of things?
It's very dependent on just the use case of the scenario. Okay. A lot like how we do hiker, we want to try to do everything that we can, right? Key tenets are affordable, quality, and in a timely manner, really. Nice. So if somebody needs, hey, my grandma's turning 90 and I want to get shirts for the entire family and everyone has their own name, we could do that. It'll cost a little bit more because each unique name will be different.
Absolutely.
But if you're, hey, I need a brand new t-shirt design for my YouTube channel, right? Because if you want merch for YouTube, that's one thing that we're definitely going to get into. We can come up with a design. Yep. There's really no minimum order quantities. We even have a way where there's no investment to start a line of merch, where we'll actually basically do kind of a print on demand model.
Okay.
So we can actually work with you or our artists, develop a design and post that online for pre-order, and then we'll fulfill the orders as they come in, so you don't have to make an upfront investment.
Oh, very cool.
So
very cool. So it's all like, hey, here's my design. I'm going to come out with like a drop.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's only going to be 60 of these.
Exactly.
They're gone. They're gone.
Yep.
Very cool.
So
very cool.
We have all that kind of stuff. And again, we've been doing this for almost a year now. We're still growing. We're still learning a little bit. That's why Jake and Lena are very important to the team. They've got 15 to 20 years of experience between them in this.
Absolutely.
And then taking kind of our hiker principles and hiring some additional staff to help us do the work. We're going to grow this into its own kind of little outdoor adventure as well.
Nice, nice. This will be a really, really cool lifestyle brand.
Yeah. Do you know much about screen printing or how the process works?
I know a little bit.
Okay.
But I have definitely never done it.
Okay. Well, if you follow me, I'll give you just kind of a quick rundown. So what happens is once we finalize the design, and here's a good example, we're going to be making some Becker Press branded merch, right? So we'll actually take the design and using UV light, we'll actually burn in a design like this. So the stuff that you see in green here, the ink is not going to penetrate, but anything that's on this silk screen that's in this yellow, it's a very fine mesh. And that's what's going to force the ink through the screen and then onto the shirt as we do our printing process. Okay. Right? So that's the first step. And then Annie over here is actually prepping our press machine. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it up. We'll put all the stuff on here, mix the inks, and we'll actually start printing the shirts. And then after we print the shirts, we obviously have to dry the ink at certain temperatures, depending on the type of ink, so that it basically locks into the fabric. It's not going to come out in the wash.
Gotcha.
So we dry everything at a certain temperature, and then our team will come in here and fold everything up, do a quality check, make sure everything looks good, and we either give it to the customer or if it's us.
So the drying process is essentially like curing, right?
Yeah,
you're just hardening it up.
Our dryer is basically a lower temperature commercial pizza oven, right? We have to make sure it gets to a certain temperature for a certain time, and that'll vary based on the type of ink that we're using.
Okay.
And as long as it hits those numbers, it's a chemical process, it's locked in.
Gotcha. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
It's really simple, but I imagine the complexities to make these, because obviously you have to design these and then get those printed out.
Yep, and there's a lot of things that don't necessarily go wrong, but you have to check to make sure everything happened the way it's supposed to.
Gotcha.
So there's all kinds of registrations and alignment things you have to look for.
Okay.
Color mixing, as you can see the shelf of all the colorful inks that we have over here. The Pantone system, we can do color matching. So if you have a certain color orange in your logo that you're always going to want to use, we can match that. But each ink, requires a certain special recipe, so you have to follow that very closely. And so there's a lot of detailed work that we have to do. And in addition to operating the press, Annie's also an artist herself, so she has that artistic eye, can help us, contain that quality and maintain it through the entire process.
Right. She can see where misalignments. Right. I mean, because that's always a possibility. I imagine.
Always a possibility.
you're laying them down, you're getting them centered as best as possible, and you're hoping that that is lined up.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then when you take it up and look, you're like,
And again, running 50 shirts through, which is an average order that we get, usually there's no problem. But if we were to do 500 in a row, this is a mechanical machine. There's nuts and bolts that could be adjusted. So it's one of those things we're always mindful of quality through all of our processes in any of our brands or companies, because things will always change from, day one to day two.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And could cause an issue, but we catch all those up front.
Very cool.
Part of the process. It's just how we do business, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess the other part of what we do, the kind of fun, messy part, is our washout room over here, right? So we deal with a lot of inks.
Oh, fun.
A lot of emulsions.
Okay.
So this is where we actually clean our screens. This is a full electric power washer in here, and we just scrub the heck out of them, and all kinds of different chemicals we use. The nice thing about the chemicals is they're very eco-friendly and safe. So a lot of orange-based or citrus-based things, so we don't have to worry about any environmental concerns. We're pretty conscious about that.
Very cool.
For this type of operation. So we actually have to clean all the screens, wash them out, and then all the screens that you see here, these are for either jobs that we do frequently, like some of our own products, but they can be repurposed. We can put an entirely new design on it.
So you just throw that up there and you just blow it out essentially?
Yeah, we wash it out. The green emulsion, you put a chemical on it, it basically dissolves. Okay. And then we clean it out and dry it, and then we can actually head into the dark room over here. And some of this stuff is photosensitive, so we'll have to be a little quick. But this is where we actually have the screens that are still ready to be burned in, prepped and ready. And we have that special color of light in there that's non-reactive, so we can, obviously see and do our work in there.
Perfect.
But that's where we actually prep the screens and put the designs on them. Right here, this is the vacuum press. So what we'll do, for example, here's a couple different of our designs. And these are actually for the same design. So these two go together. That's why we have those registration marks.
Okay, so that way you lined up.
Yep, we'll match those up at the top. And then you can see, because these are films, the design looks a little cloudy. But each one of these is going to be its own screen. This one will be one color. This would be another color.
Gotcha.
And what we'll do, we'll take these art film cutouts, put the screen on here that's ready to be burned in, and then this is actually a special UV light that will burn that into the screen.
And so this blocks the light.
Correct.
And then that's how you end up with what's left.
Correct. So when we close this and turn the vacuum pump, it pushes that film right against the screen. Anything that's ink on here, right? Anything that's black on here will not cure. And so then we'll take the screen after we burn it, wash out anything that didn't cure, and then that gives us the cutout that will then apply to the t-shirt on the press.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool.
So yeah, pretty cool process.
That's super cool.
Some steps more involved than people realize.
Yep.
And then finally, in this corner over here, next to our little workstation we have set up, this is kind of our candle making area. So in addition to obviously shirts and apparel, hats, and all that kind of stuff, we can do custom candles, and this is where we make them. And we've got all kinds of different scents here that we're trying out.
Let's see. I don't know what this says, but I'm going to check it out. Let's see. It smells like linen.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yep. We've got some crazy ones. They do marshmallow, fruity pebbles. Nice. I mean, candle scents can get crazy. That's a whole nother world altogether. But we make our own candles. We do a soy-based wax. Again, it's very eco-friendly.
Nice.
And yeah, that's Becker Press as it is today.
That's awesome.
And Becker Supply as well.
Well, that's super exciting to see you guys expanding into the lifestyle section of the industry, and then helping out guys like us, like being able to come in and do a 50 or 60 run order on for our YouTube page for our
anything really. Hey, you want to get a shirt to, like I said, commemorate an anniversary or birthday. We're willing to do all that kind of stuff, because it's about, again, like you said, community, making it special, and using our network of contacts in the outdoor space to provide more quality products other than just trailers, right?
Absolutely.
We want to keep growing and support the community in as many ways as possible.
Absolutely. Okay. It's been amazing, man. Yeah. I appreciate you taking us around this, what I would consider a massive facility. It's very impressive, and I'm super excited to see what Becker Supply
we'll have some very exciting news early next year with new models and other stuff we've been working on for a long time.
Maybe we'll have to come back out for that.
Absolutely. And if you guys are in town in September of next year, we're doing our very first Hiker Fest, which is basically a big palooza of all of our companies and brands. We're renting out a campground. We're going to have a bunch of hiker owners come, and it's just going to be a big community event. at a local campground here in Brown County. So
we might be able to find some time for that.
Okay, sounds good.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.